how to make six figures with your creative space. And this is how we did it. Intro.
We're not even gonna lie. In the beginning, it was super duper duper tough. Why? Because a lot of people in our area didn't even know what a creative space was or is, still currently figuring it out. But we have something or we have spaces out there now that they're able to understand a little bit of what it is, but we're still in like the beginning phases of introducing it to our area so that they can really, get the concept.
Yeah.
Because the only thing around here that they have are photo studios or event spaces. And so that's what we had to deal with in the beginning of just introducing it to people, the concept. And so in the beginnings, we're in the first space, which is the house space now. And so like you guys seen in the very beginning of our stuff, we started here. This is where it all started, the genesis of it all.
What happened?
Why?
Why what? Man, I'm human. It's the spring, summer. Allergies. What you expect me to do? Not that sometimes this is gonna happen. We are who we are.
Whatever.
Keep talking.
Oh yeah. It was very tough for us in the beginning because number one, we had what we wanted to do. However, the people didn't know what a creative space was. So like I mentioned to a few people before and on our Facebook group, what we talk about with some people that we connect with there is sometimes you have to mix the old stuff of the familiar of what people are used to and mix it a little bit with the new things in order for them to kind of get the concept or as an introduction, right? And so, like I said, in the beginning, it was tough because we had to figure out, all right, what can we do to get people to come into our spaces, get the concept of creative spaces. So what we ended up having to do is create different experiences, create different types of packages. You have to kind of use what they're familiar with, use what's kind of like trending, and put that together with the creative space in order to give them something so that they can start getting their creative wheels turning. Because one thing that Roy and I both realize is that people are not visionaries. Like they're not,
yeah, no.
they don't think. I don't want to say they don't think. That sounds really bad, but
it's not really bad. What I had to do in the beginning, a lot of times with people, when they said, what is a creative space? I said creative space, because they always say, is it an event space? I said, no, like event space is like the mall, and creative space is like online shopping.
Oh yeah, pretty much. So yeah, we realize that a lot of times with people, you have to give them the ideas, and then from there, then they will start getting these all different types of concepts and event ideas and photo shoot ideas and meetup ideas and all these different things, right? For an example, one of the things that I wanted to host in our space was people to have book signings, like people who are authors and they're looking for a nice space to have like a book signing. Our biggest thing is to promote and lift up, I should say, the entrepreneurship circle in our area or small businesses. That's our whole thing, is to lift them up by providing spaces for them to kind of, do their launches, support their businesses. When we first put our spaces out there, I put created for book launches, content creation. I mean, I was very, straight to the point of what I was doing, and I'll have it somewhere in the description. Whether on Peerspace, whether on Google or Instagram, Facebook, things like that. And I realized that we ain't getting no hits on that type of stuff because I realized that people really don't look at the description unless you have a call to action button or something that will lead them to the description for them to be interested in even learning more about what it is that you're doing. That's a whole nother situation. Anyways, so what I ended up doing was on one of the reels, because that's what we do. We created an Instagram page and our spaces, and a lot of times people plug in from social media from like reels and stuff. And so I don't know if you guys seen any of our previous videos, or if you're connected to our Facebook community group, or even if you've been looking at the post that's on our not Instagram, but on our YouTube page. One of the things that we say is that you need to get some sort of social platform, and Instagram was one of those things that helped us grow more with our creative space. But anyways, I created a reel. I had a video, actual video, not pictures, but actually video motions, and it was pretty much saying something like on the lines of, this is a perfect, I don't want to say this is a perfect place. I had something on the lines of what did I have, Roy? Something on the lines of something with the wording up there, but it was like capturing somebody who is, I don't know, crap, I'm having a brain fart because I don't even know. I have to plug it in somewhere right here, but I will have a video similar to this, or I had a video similar to this right here that made it interesting for people to have small gatherings. There it is. I had a video of a reel of small gatherings, people in the space, doing things in the space, and then from there, that's when somebody who was an author, they decided that they wanted to do their book launch with us. What I'm saying is that in the very beginning, I understand, like, maybe some of you guys are in like having a rough time finding somebody to get your space. One thing that I want to say before we get into all these bullet points is that you can't just open a space and automatically think that somebody is going to come to you. Like, we're not a Chick-fil-A, a Walmart, a CVS, where it's already an established company. All they have to do is that they're open and people will come. With the creative space, you do have to put in some sort of work in the beginning, especially in the beginnings, so that your community, so that your city or the cities around you and the people, of course, that's within them, can really capture what it is that you're doing. And so they can come behind you and support you. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as far as what you should be doing before you open up your space in order for you to see some of those results of getting bookings, because we learned the hard way. And so we learned the hard way so that you don't have to learn the hard way. But anyways, let's get into these bullet points. I'm going to say the first thing is that we were open to doing events in our spaces. Okay. Again, we were going through a very tough time because we were trying to figure out, again, how are we going to get people's attention? How can we even get people to see that we even exist? So one thing that really changed things for us was being open to events, because everybody, I don't even care, like, who you are, where you're from, any of these things. It's always somebody's birthday. Someone is always trying to do something nice for their significant other. Somebody's always getting married. Even if it's a small little micro wedding or a big wedding, there's always somebody looking to do something in an event space, or a space for events or whatever is always needed. And no matter what type of form it comes in, people always need a space. That's why we have all these clubhouses and within the apartment buildings. You know, we have all these different centers so that people can use it, because obviously it's needed. So we were saying, okay, like Roy and I were like, all right, bet. So if we have these spaces, right? Some people are coming through to take photo shoots, but what can we do to try to offset the expenses and the costs and all these things that's coming out? And so we were like, let's just be open to allowing more people to do events. Yeah. And then let's come up with experiences and packages so that we can let people know, hey, this is what you can do in here. This is what we will allow. And I feel like that it's smart for you to do that as well, so that you can have boundaries, so that you're not having any and everybody coming up in your space with all these ideas. Because I'm telling you, long story short, remember that time somebody, they wanted to have strippers in our space.
They didn't say strippers. What they said was they wanted to...
they used the word entertainment, dancers.
I know, but what they was trying to do was trying to have audition for dancers.
Audition.
Yeah, for
that's
dancers.
It. Yeah.
On. Look, they just trying to see...
They were using... Yes,
on all this other stuff. But one thing about us when we started, and one reason why we started to allow or do events is because what we realized, especially in this area, you know, content creation is good.
Yeah.
However, people, with a photographer, unless when you're in the very beginning and you're getting started and you don't have the expendable funds, right? If you have a space that has one look, if a photographer uses like 4, 5, 6 times, then it's kind of
yes.
Yes. You got to change it up for them. However, when it comes to events, because you can have the same look and they can do it so many ways with tablescapes and different things. You can have the same space and have 30 different events look 30 different ways, and you can have they can hire a decorator to come in. You don't have to do the work, so it's less expenses on you changing the look because somebody else is doing it.
Yes, and
you can charge way more per hour for an event than a content creation. For example, we may charge $100 an hour for photos for content creation, like photo shoot or something like that. But an event, we can charge up to, $800 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 8, 9, 1,000.
And the only reason why is because that's a big jump. The only reason why is because a lot of people who are, at least in our area, because we're not in an area where we have a lot of college students that go to school for film, but we're not around those really big production sets and studios and things like that, to where people would, long story short, a lot of people wouldn't pay $500 to $800 for a studio space. You may get them every now and then, but that's not going to be like your constant average client for a photo shoot. So what Roy was saying, made a good point, is that while you are getting your space together, while you're still because this is what I want to say. We're not telling anybody who has a space and it's strictly for production and content creation for you to go in deep into the event side. What we're saying is that as you are, introducing your community, that the creative space side of the podcast and the meetings and the workshops and the trainings and the photo shoots and the video shoots and the master classes and all these things, while you are still, introducing those concepts and those ideas, and that your space is there to be, incubator for those things. In the meantime, make your space available for people to have events so that you're not constantly in the red that month, or you're not constantly seeing that, oh snap, like the bills and this and that and this. So this is something that can help you. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a few people that we suggest doing this to, and they decided to keep both of them. They decided to keep their space open for content creation, and they decided to still allow it to have events. Now you have to come up with a calendar schedule of what days out of the month that you want to dedicate for people to have events. And then, of course, with the production, unless, and this is just something I'm putting out there, okay, unless you have a space where you can do those things and everything can kind of coexist together. Now, that's a whole nother video that we'll talk about, but yeah.
I will say just a little insight, because people can do content creation anytime, right? Because most time when you talk about content creation, like a photo shoot, you're talking about less than like 4 or 5 people. You got your photographer, maybe a family shoot, so they can do that, a lot during the week, afternoon, an hour or 2 in the afternoon on a Monday. They could come and do content, or a podcast can be a weekly thing at night. But most time what you'll find out is like Friday through Sundays is mostly all you're going to be all the event times. Most people don't, some people do content creation like on a Saturday morning, like photo shoots or something, but a Saturday night or Friday night times, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, stuff like that, people usually don't. They usually do events. So that would just be a little piece of advice.
So the next thing is that we were really intentional with collaborating with vendors, collaborating with small businesses. Because, I feel like that by now everybody knows the power of collaboration. But it's something serious with the creative space, because, again, it's going to add more value to who your space is, what it is that you guys bring. And the most important thing is that you're luck in your arm. You're locking arms with people. You're locking arms with people. You're lifting them up as well. You have this field that God has given you, and it's this green field. And now other people can benefit off of the fields that he's given you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing, is being there for your local entrepreneurs, or your, I don't want to call it, what is it called? Not your colleagues. It's not your colleagues, but people within the same, what is it called? The community. The small business and entrepreneurial or entrepreneurship, whatever community in your area. It's just about supporting other vendors and supporting small businesses. I guess vendors are small businesses, so supporting small businesses. So the moment we started doing that, a lot of people became more attracted as well, because we were able to bring more value. We were able to, it was easier for us because we just kind of link everything in together. We can show you guys down below in the description, like our website, so you kind of can see how we do some things. We collaborate with anybody that, we collaborate with anybody that honestly makes sense to collaborate with. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we're not going to collaborate with a barber. That kind of doesn't make sense. We can recommend that, like whoever, but it wouldn't make sense to do that. We can recommend a hairstylist or a makeup artist. I know some people may be like, oh, that may be a good collaboration. It could be, but I see you collaborating with an event planner, a creative director, somebody who is some sort of admin at an event center looking for a space, or to work with somebody to have these summer activities for the kids. Like these are the type of collaborations that it is that you want to connect with, because again, what is it does? It gives you the exposure to your space. It creates more value to your space. And then you're able to, if you want to, you can have like a finder's fee somewhere in there. We don't do those yet, but I do believe that if we were to start all over again, this is something that I would put in there, even if it's $50 or $75 or something like that. And if you have it within your package, it's really not going to matter, or it's really not going to be a big deal when you have that all together, whatever you want it to be. But this is something that has also helped us be able to make six figures, and this is what you can do, another thing that you can do for yours.
Yeah, speaking about collaborators, right? It does make sense to collaborate with people that make sense, like Christina said. For example, we collaborate with decorators, caterers, and stuff, and a lot of them have good to big followings, right? And what happens is, because we get a client that may need decorations or they may need food, right? We connect them with the people we collaborate with. They also have clients that they have for food, they need a space. Yes. So it kind of, one hand washes the other hand. When you have really good collaborations, that's something you look for. How can we benefit this collaboration? How can they benefit from this collaboration?
Yeah, and even with, again, the content creation, collaborating with these photographers, these videographers, coming up using the whole not concept, but using the whole tactic, I guess, that Costco's and Sam's Club use with the wholesale. You know, let them know, like, this is what we have. We have this is the space that we have. We're able to do this amount of volume in bookings. And getting with them and seeing, like, will they give you a special price? If you know, will they give you a special price in order for you to create a nice package for clients to take advantage of, or take the opportunity? So even, it doesn't even go with events of what he was saying, but even with content creation, you know, collaborate with the what is it? The photographers and the videographers, and even the creative directors, people like that, they can be very beneficial as well.
Yep, because they always need someone to shoot their clients. They'll suggest your space first.
I'm going to read this off of the notes, okay? Because this is a lot to say and a lot to memorize. So we have right here, so I'm going to read what we have right here. We were okay to using what we have, starting from somewhere, not letting the insecurity and lie to enter us and play off of that. The lie of my space not being good enough. The lie of just all these different things. Did I make the right decision? Did I make the right choice? And then you kind of back away. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. That's the mindset thing that we kind of,
That is the mindset thing. And then too, even that goes even with collaborations, right? You have to collaborate with people that understand the same and have the same vision that you have. Sometimes you're gonna find people that really can't see it in the beginning, as long as they're open to learning and open to still having a collaboration. Sometimes they can end up being the best collaborator you have. For example, one of the decorators that we use the most in the beginning couldn't really see how people would use the space, but now she decorates one of our spaces for us probably once or twice a week.
Yeah, maybe even more.
Sometimes more. It depends on the week, but on average, once or twice a week. So, and now we both make a lot of money with each other because she sent a lot of clients our way, and we recommend her first. When a client needs to decorate, that's the first person we recommend.
Yeah, well, actually, it's already packages with her already in it, so she already, and it's cool because they don't even have to do any advertisement. We just bring the people to them. That's what I love the most. Like, y'all don't even have to go out and go fishing. We bring the fish to you. I love that part.
And they bring fish to us too.
Yeah, same. But yeah, so I want to go back to again from starting with something, and it being okay with what you have, right? It's okay to start off with what you have. It's not okay for you to stay there and not make any adjustments and not make any improvements. I'm not saying that you got to go out there right now and spend $1,000 and drop $1,000, especially if you don't have it. Now, if you're with me, I'm like, yo, if I have access to those type of funds and I know that I need to make some adjustments, I don't mind doing it. But what I'm saying is I don't want to pressure somebody to be like, yo, drop 1K, drop 5K right now on your space. No, you don't have to do that. The whole thing is that you should always be like, okay, this is what I have. What I have is good enough. What I have right now, let me see who I need to, again, like we're talking about, who I need to collaborate with. Coming up with these ideas, when it comes to people being drawn to my space. But I just want to let you know that it is okay for you to have what you have, right? What your space is right now is good enough. Figuring out what people are saying, that's another bullet that we have in there. While we were able to make 6 figures, we listened to what the inquiries had. If we did not have it, we said, okay, how can we be the answer? How can we be the answer? That's just it. Just look at it like, how can I be the answer to what they're getting? I don't want to go too much further. The most important thing out of all of them, okay, is seeking the Lord. I don't care where you're at. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm telling you of what worked for us, what works for us, continue to work for us. And it's a promise of what works for us when we go to the Lord, when we humble ourselves and go to the Lord and be like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please help me? You know what I'm saying? Surrendering your ideas and concepts, waiting on Him to show up for you and not rushing the process. Praying, and just when I say praying, I'm not talking about just a little 1, 2, 3 ABC. I'm talking about you getting real with the Lord. Okay, maybe sometimes on your knees, maybe sometimes you lay down on the floor, or maybe you just kind of like sitting like how we are, just having a casual conversation with God. What I'm saying is that if you ain't praying and you ain't got no prayer life with this business, baby girl, baby boy, okay, them challenges and storms are going to come. And is your house built on the rock or is your house built on the sand? And if your house is built on the sand, then God, we can get it together, or you can get it together. We all get it together so that we can have a solid foundation. But anyways, pray and seek the Lord and do it, even with your intentions of, not having the intentions of, okay, I want to make this money. I want my space to be successful. Like getting rid of all of that stuff and saying, you know what, God, if you gave this business concept to me, I believe you gave this business concept to me. What do you want me to do with it? How can I make this work? What do you want me to do in this time with this space? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care about what. And I know that we're probably a few people's coaches and mentors, and you guys look at us as that. And I really love that. And I honor that so bad. But the best person that you can ever go to is the Holy Spirit. That's the best business coach. That's the best advice you will ever get, no matter what anybody else is telling you, even other people that does these master classes on and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, that information is good, but is that for you though? Is this information for me though? And yeah, that's the biggest thing, because I'm not about to waste no time. I'm about to go straight to the source Himself and be like, all right, Lord, what's up? What you want me to do? So
Yeah, too, and you got to ask yourself when you start, what's the purpose of me starting this business, right? Because money comes, money go. You can do a lot of things to make money.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of things you can do to make a great impact. And like I said, money comes, and you can make $1 million in a year. Now what?
Yeah.
You have money, but will you have peace? So this is what Christina was saying.
The next thing is not giving up when challenges come. Not going back to I quit. I don't know if this was a good idea. I don't know this. I don't know that. Like, don't even go there. Go back, like what we were saying earlier. See what your inquiries have been saying. Look at your area and see what it is that they're already interested in and how you can kind of put that within your space. Collaborate with people. All these things are what we spoke about before. Letting those things be the answer, you being the answer. I know a lot of times we can have our own agendas of how we do things. We're excited about the creative space business, things like that, and it will blind us to the fact that, hey, we need to mix some things together in the beginning to introduce it. So not giving up when challenges come. They're going to come, but being strong in your mind. Go pray and go read your Bible, long story short.
Yeah, and how you, that's some things to help you overcome those challenges, because you got to understand, nothing worth doing comes easy.
Yes.
Everything is going to take some type of work. I seen this real short illustration the other day on Instagram or something. Anyway, it was some guys that had, they was on the beach. It was on one side of the beach was the river, on the other side of the beach was the ocean, and they never connected. But all they did was dug a little small ditch about that wide from the river to the ocean, and before they knew it, it was far beyond their control. They were surfing, and it was a huge mistake. So they wasn't prepared for what they was getting themselves into. So overcoming challenges is not only staying fast to what you're doing, but figuring out if I make this move, how do I prepare for the overflow?
Yeah. So there's that. What was I about to say? I was about to say something else. I forgot. Boosting. Okay, the next thing of what you can do for your creative space to earn 6 figures is boosting reels on Instagram. The moment that we started doing this is when we started to go into, the moment we started doing this, I'm telling you, like, we got really, really great results. In the beginning, I sucked at boosting posts. I didn't know what type of content worked. I didn't know what I was doing. I prayed, though, and the answers came to me of what to do as I was listening to what to do. I mean,
yeah. You didn't suck in the beginning. You just didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
That's going to happen when you walk into a space where it's brand new to you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up stuff. You're going to make the wrong decisions. This is all a part of the learning process. This is how you get experience. This is how you get knowledge. Now, you can, as long as you learn from those mistakes, then they become lessons. All L's are not losses. If you learn from them, they become lessons. So always remember that. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to get messy. It's okay, like Miss Frizzle used to say, let's get messy. Let's go make mistakes, on the back school bus. I'm aging myself a little bit there, but that's how it is. You're going to make mistakes. No matter how much information you have, at the end of the day, when you're trying it and you've never done it before, you're going to mess up. But don't be discouraged in the mess up. Learn from that and learn not to do it again and get better.
Yeah, so with boosting posts and reels going with him, I learned that I need to study some other Instagram pages. Again, going to some familiars that people are already used to seeing. So I will go to different photo studio places, or I will go to different event spaces that have stuff on Instagram that has a great following, that has great views, and kind of look and see, not only with them, but I would even take it a bit further and look at just what reels in general are doing good. What am I realizing out of all the ones that are doing good? What do they have in common? I'll tell you this one thing right here. A lot of times, a lot of the reels that do well, and they do well for me, is when you have some sort of like wording in the beginning, and you having whatever your price package or whatever it is that you're doing, they're up there too. So let's just say, for an example, you have private spaces for 50 to 70 people, under $1,200 or under $1,500. Stuff like that will spark people's interest, because again, a lot of people are looking to do spaces. When it comes to content creation, you'll have a video of your space, maybe some backdrops that you have, maybe some equipment or lighting equipment that you have that comes with it. Have a mock setup, get a friend or something like there to kind of be in the background, just kind of looking like they're maybe like an influencer, a camera in the front, them in them right here doing some things, and you recording that, and you saying something like local creative space content creation package for I don't know, 2-3 hours in the space for under $200. That's probably a lot, but I think that that's probably a lot of wording, but I think that you guys get what I'm saying. Something that's going to grab their attention. I'm learning that posts and content that's like that, because people want to know straight shots of what it is that they're looking at, how much it's going to be, and is it even interesting enough or nice enough for me to participate in that. These are all of the things that we have done in order for us to make six figures in our creative space. To be honest, the moment I'm just going to be transparent, the moment that we stepped out of the house space, because I mean the house is small, so there's not that many things that we can do with it, just kind of content creation and meetings. People have tried to do events in here, but it's just not big enough to do something like that. So the moment that we stepped out into a space or into a location where we can start doing these experiences, and we applied all of what we just shared with you, that's when we started to see the six figures. So I'm going to say that before we started Peerspace, before we became an official LLC. So within it being the official LLC from 2021 when we started, that's when we saw our first six-figure year. The moment that we became, when we made everything official, long story short, is when we made our first six figures. And we made it really quick by applying all of what I was sharing, or what we were sharing, by applying all of what we shared with you guys today. So don't be afraid to kind of branch out there. Don't be afraid if you're a production space or content creation space. Don't be afraid to do some events and stuff. Create those boundaries. But the whole thing is that why we're telling you this, not only for y'all to 6-7 figures, like going into that direction. The biggest thing is, especially if you're somebody that's kind of like stuck or in a bad place, where you're like, okay, I need to figure out how I can generate some money. We're sharing these things to have, like, what is it, a life rail? Is that what it's called? A life jacket, all these things for you guys. And then also those who are thinking about doing a creative space, for them to look at all of what it is that you should be looking at doing. And then maybe somebody who's already doing a space and their space is already doing well, either to give you some confirmation of that what you're doing is the right thing, or also to give you ideas of what you can do to elevate your space and get more revenue coming in for you guys. There's a lot more things that we're going to tell y'all, a whole lot more, like how we even got started, all this other stuff. Get connected to our Facebook group. We are way more active up there. There are some things that we're going to share with you guys. However, I'm going to tell you this right now. I do not mind, Roy doesn't mind getting vulnerable with you, but we're not going to get vulnerable and open to people who are just here to just be nosy. We want to make sure that if we're sharing certain information, especially information that is really sensitive to us, that we're willing to pour into you, that we're pouring into the right people, into the right person. So if you're really serious about this creative space, Roy and I are going to start offering one-on-one mentorships pretty much for the entire year. And we're going to be helping you directly, okay, with what it is that you have, us being open of what it is that we see that has worked for us, down to the T and everything like that, and hold your hand for the entire year. Like, we won't be family for real. Mm-hmm. Even wanting to visit people who are serious. Like, we want to point to people who are for real and serious about that thing. So if that's you and you're interested, please email us, please. And for those who we've already connected to on this type of level already, y'all already know. If y'all need anything, y'all have already seen that. I will call you, okay? I will call you. He will call you. We will call you and help you and be there for you to support you. So that's all that we have today. I hope you guys have a great day. You want to say anything?
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
All right, y'all. See y'all later. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.